like to see, to answer your question, is I would like to see Hans Summer bring out a carry AD carry again. I think Lucian suits his playstyle because it does give you playmaking potential. That's why we're seeing Doublelift still play it so much over in North America, because it is that independent AD carry that allows you to shine. So I'd like to see Hans Summer back on this once more. I'd also like to see Alfari move back to a tank, simply because while he is this prodigal top laner from the UK, what he is not is being able to have an impact in these games right now with the way lane swaps are playing out, and with the way he has so many superstar carries on his team with Selfie and Hans. He doesn't need to be the carry that he's been in the UK. He just needs to be that frontline. He needs to be that engage that his team can just rely on.
Yeah, just needs to be Maokai. That's all he needs to.
Or he can do it on Gnar. I'll give him that one.
Gnar,
but just want a frontline tanky engage. That's all I want.
Yeah. Okay, we're taking a lot of mid laners away from the pool, so goodbye Sustain Major. Swain, Vlad taken off the table. Rise, Zia. Gonna take away Raxai. We're gonna find a
Nivea next.
A Nivea, yeah, take that away from Selfie. Maybe take away like Lysandra or something, so they have to dig real deep into their pools. Well, a day where we just like banned 6 mid laners and Kozuki's like, all right, I'm going Akali. I'm going back to my roots.
Have you seen Tank Kali?
Tank Akali? That's old news. It used to be like top lane, Tank Akali.
Tank Kali. No, it's Tank Kali.
Oh, Tank Kali. Yeah. That was good for like a couple weeks.
Still good.
And by good, I mean like solo good.
Hextech Gunblaze into full tank.
Oh, that actually could be good. Well, I need to try that.
Pro tip as well.
Rain Terror on solo queue.
Could do it.
Good stuff. Final ban was Caitlyn. That was very annoying to deal with. And Irelia will be first
like,
picked.
Screw you, Vedius, I'm picking a carry.
Yeah, I'm not picking a front line. I'm going Irelia.
I mean, Irelia is strong right now. She was banned in game 1. Now she is available for Alfari to play in game 2.
Or Selfie pulling a faker and bringing it mid lane, but
and we can't forget the fact that Alfari is, I think, like rank 10 in Challenger right now, and he knows how to carry. So maybe he's saying, all right, Selfie, you take a back step. I saw what you did on that trap last game, so you can be the tank front line, and I will carry.
Yeah, go Maokai mid lane. Go with the good old AD cheese. 2 seconds remaining, and what are we gonna? Okay, we're gonna find the Elise and the Braum. Both of the picks they were hovering over, so I'm gonna get the priority on that jungler for Kirei. Nidalee was still open, but he opted towards the Elise this time. So
thing is, if you're gonna get to a game that late, then Nidalee really loses her impact.
True. So does that tell us that I want to say Inspire that Epsilon are gonna try and hit late game again?
Perhaps they're just building more towards it. I think what Kirei noticed was that, that his early game was not as strong as he wanted it to be. He definitely was invading a lot and getting a lot of deep vision down, but it wasn't the same sort of impact he was envisioned. He got that first blood down to Selfie, but noticed that it was a very low kill game. And so perhaps Epsilon is saying, oh, well, if we're going to have another similar game where it is very low kill, let's just have a jungler that can have a very similar sort of early game pressure, but doesn't fall off as hard as, say, something like Nidalee does.
I'm pretty sure it's Kirei. I think it's based on the Fate Stay character. So.
I've always called him Kirei, but
so has a lot of people. But I remember asking him like a year and a half ago, and I'm pretty sure it's Kirei. It
would make sense
from Fate Stay.
Key, you know.
Key, yeah, like Key Strike, Key Burst from League of Legends. So we'll find out. But Ezreal and Victor going to be picked up here by Misfits. So really just standard picks, honestly, from Misfits. Very, very meta, I think, is the biggest thing from this. So.
Yes, Ezreal going to be taking a little while to scale up. Same with the Victor. Typically, when you look at those two, you think 2-item spike. However, we're seeing more of the Trinity Force Ezreal these days, and some of them still build tier, so they go tier into Trinity, whereas I believe earlier in the day we just saw Trinity straight into Hextech, into like Mortal Reminder or whatever. So, if they have the Trinity Force spike, then you have more of a mid-game spike, which would actually complement Irelia a little bit better, because then you have the double Trinity Force spike and you can force plays from that. And Victor only really needs 1 item to start having an impact. So you can see Misfits definitely aiming towards a more of a mid-game sort of composition right now, depending on how they choose to itemize.
Well, there's the Anivia I was wanting to see from the start of the day, and it's actually being Kotzq who's going to bring that to the mid lane.
Nice.
So, yeah, very nice. And Shen again, so that's going to be Sartorius. And Sartorius, as you were talking about in last Champion Select, first brought the Gragas into the top lane, then everyone else copied him. He was also the first one to bring the new Shen after the rework into the top lane. So, yeah, bringing it on back. And Yeah, I love both of those champions. Very fun to watch. So bring something a little bit different here.
So bear in mind what this Shen will do is it will it creates global pressure, just that global ambiance that you have to always be mindful of. If you want to try and set up a TP play in the bottom lane, want to try and make a gank happen, you always have to remember, is Shen ultimate up? Can it actually come in and ruin this gank or turn this gank around? So something that you always have to be very mindful of that I feel like a lot of teams, me in particular, will often forget. So you try to force a play.
A lot of people do. But I also like how you put it, like ambiance. Like Shen sets the mood on Summoner's Rift. Yeah, don't go for that 2v2 because it's a 2 versus 3. That's what that's the mood he's setting. We had 2 last pickups from Misfits. Gonna be the Bard once again and Olaf. So we're seeing more and more Olaf now as the carry meta of the top lane and jungle starts coming back. With Alfaro, of course, picking up the Aurelia. It's going to be jungle for Wisdom. So it's looking a little bit different for him because he usually picks up Elise or Nidalee or Kindred. So yeah, picking up Olaf now.
So,
hello.
Okay.
Tat-tat-tat.
Nice.
Twitch coming
out. So we saw Twitch over in the LPL a little while ago, and
we did.
LPL love Twitch. They've been playing it a lot. LCK not so much. It has been coming out a little bit, but none else in Europe, especially. I think there might have been 1 or 2 games in NA.
Yeah.
So it has been popping up around the world, but it tends to be only certain players. I know a certain colorcaster is a big fan of Twitch.
Indeed.
And the Twitch is cool because of the kill pressure that he can provide, but also you've got the Submarine coming back with the Shen Twitch combo.
Oh man, I completely forgot. It's been so long since we've seen that.
Really good engage potential for Epsilon available. It's quite difficult to execute, but it's really cool. It's like the Evelyn sort of Shen combo as well, which is a little bit more reliable, but it still works with Twitch Shen.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of cool things that I want to talk about, but we'll talk more about them when we get into game.
Okay.
The big thing I want to note is Dreams has Bards, Engage, Disengage, Flanks, Picks, really well-rounded support that pretty much makes up for everything that Misfits were lacking in Game 1.
Yeah.
And they've also got a great laning phase with their composition because Ezreal with the Trinity Force is going to be a lot stronger compared to if he goes for Tia. Aurelia, once she hits that Trinity Force, really good mid-game spike. Would not be surprised to see Epsilon lane swap. What Misfits want to do is guarantee themselves the 2v2. They need to make sure they have a good, healthy laning phase and that that Aurelia, Alfaro in particular, doesn't fall behind like he did on the Rumble in Game 1.
Honestly, Vedius, you had me at Engage from Bard. That's all I wanted to hear from Misfits composition. But here we have the full composition that you can see on your screen. MSF win or EPS win. There we go. I can get my words out and my letters out as we head into this game. Oh, Gangster Twitch as well. Probably my favorite skin on Twitch. The little Tommy gun that he has is fantastic. I think it really suits Twitch as a gangster.
I do not like Twitch.
You don't as a champion?
As
like
a champion.
His
in
lore,
this composition,
or?
he's fine. But as a champion, I do not like him.
Why not, Vedius?
He is literally a rat.
Yeah.
That has a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, why would anyone want that?
He's a mutant rat. Whoa.
Have you ever had
Level
rats
1
before?
1 second, Vedius. We have a intense mid lane fight as both mid laners will get to around 30% HP because neither of them have enough burst to finish the other one off or back away and TP back to base before it even matters. Rats are very affectionate creatures. Except Twitch is not. Every rat owner ever. Like, rats are very affectionate.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's...
I've never owned a rat, but...
I just got told in my ear that yes, that is in fact true.
Boom.
So there we go.
Destroyed.
I have just been schooled.
Yep. Recommend getting a rat as a pet?
I would not
over
recommend giving it an armed weapon, though.
That I agree with, yeah. Just reminds me of like the images on the internet where you have like the crabs who pick up the knives and then waddle towards people. So, yeah, don't weaponize your rats. That is that is for certain. Well, very scary on this pick. I say very scary. He's had 9 Twitch games in total, and he's won 3 of them. So, going off that, 33%, 0.3 recurring, of course. Not actually fantastic from Walleye, so we'll see if it actually works out in this game. And
it looks like Misfits are going to get standard lanes, so finally we're going to get the 2v2 and the 1 versus 1, which is what I love to see. So let's talk about each lane and each matchup in particular. So in the top lane, we've already discussed how Shen typically doesn't really have weak matchups. Aurelia can be a bit of a bully, especially once she gets that Trinity Force. But she's still, it's not really one that swings in really either direction up until Aurelia hits those big power spikes.
Actually, Shen bodies Aurelia pretty hard in laning phase.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because there's very little that Irelia can do, because she steps up and either Shen shadow dashes and then Qs and then beats Irelia early, or this happens, and then he gets a level 2 advantage, punishes Alphari, and he just loses out in the trade. Sartorius also running Grasping and Dying. Obviously that peters out later on into the laning phase, but early Sartorius generally does have the advantage. Selfie's going to have to preemptively flash, but sidestep out from Kirai's Cocoon. That could have gone very badly with the pre-flash, but actually did work out in the end.
Alright, so I want to come back on this top lane matchup for a second. Because, so you've played a lot of Shen.
I have.
I've played a lot of Irelia.
Oh, really?
And so I can definitely understand your perspective that in terms of if you play the matchup out, that Shen can get the advantage, but I would actually give more argument to the fact that whoever goes in first is usually the person that will often come out behind afterwards. So if Shen taunts in, you can get stunned up, and the Irelia can get a couple hits of the W off, and then as he's running away, she can chase with the Blade Surge and come out ahead in the trade. Whereas if the vice versa happens, if Irelia goes over aggressive, then the taunt, the minion damage, and the turnaround ends up like that, right? So that's my argument. We'll have to see how the lane pans out.
We will. My money's on Sartorius, yours is on Alphari. We'll have them fight it out and find out which caster is correct.
We shall.
We will.
So, anyway, moving away from the top lane, back into the bottom lane.
It's very interesting, though. We very rarely see interaction between top laners, so I think it is actually warranted to talk a little bit about them. Yeah,
and I think it will be an interesting matchup.
Oh, what's that? Sartorius wrecking Alphari.
Well, yeah, but the big thing is Sartorius is forcing a level advantage that he has, and he's also got a minion advantage because he got the early shove off. So Sartorius was just playing the matchup well in the sense that he got the early level 2 and he was forcing plays. But now he's overextended and is susceptible to a gank. You watch, my friend, when that Trinity Force is picked up, it could go in the favor of Alphari. But
we shall see.
I'm always open to being wrong. There's no problem with
I'm not. No, I am. It would be very fun to watch how this works out.
Yeah, it's always an interesting matchup, and one that I feel we haven't seen in a long time.
No,
to be fair.
Pretty rare we see. We're seeing more and more Shen recently, but he's only just kind of come back, whereas Irelia's maybe got like a week on him. So I think we probably see a little bit more of that. Pretty much everyone is using their TPs to get back to the lane. Sartorius is going to keep his though, so there is TP advantage to Epsilon to start off this game. Sartorius. He's going to sneak his way into this bush, place down the ward. We saw some trading in the bottom lane, but nothing really to write home about. Kirai was not able to get the gank off.
But let's talk about the bottom lane, because we talked enough about the top now. And Ezreal versus Twitch. Typically, basic attack AD carries during the laning phase are not the strongest because they have no abilities to enhance their actual damaging effects. So when you just pair up an Ezreal versus a Twitch, usually the Ezreal should come out ahead, especially with the bonus attack speed that he's going to get early on anyway. So, and also when you add to the fact that it's a Bard who has a range advantage, can be quite aggressive up against the Braum, you would give the advantage over to Misfits in a sense that Epsilon kind of have to play passive. They have to let themselves get pushed underneath the turret because there's no real way for them to get the all-in. But once they hit level 6, they have much more of an all-in potential. So that's something that Misfits has to be very mindful of as the lane progresses, especially seeing as Hans has actually decided to go for this tier. So it does look like he's going for more of a scaling Ezreal build as opposed to the early Trinity Force.
Oh, Kirai is going to turn the corner right into a Bard who lines up the Cosmic Binding and will piece out there very quickly. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Noxiac and Warlight will step up to meet Kirai, so they'll push him away from the tower and zone them from this minion wave. So Warlight's going to be pretty happy. And despite, Hansam probably having the advantage with the pressure from Kirai twice now, that Twitch is able to farm up. So
and to be fair, Warlight's done a really good job of just farming under turret anyway. So he's playing this Twitch well so far, but this is something that we did mention about Warlight, and he does have a good laning phase typically. Only second behind Hansama in his CS per minute, so something to just bear in mind. Warlight is still that consistently strong laner. Yeah.
Something I would note though now, in before is that Warlight has picked a champion that is very, very reliant on positioning to hold that fort as we see top laners trade. Transcendent Blades is going to help him out against Sartorius, and with Olaf coming in, we've got Kozku coming in from the mid lane. Flash Frost is going to be stopped out by the Ragnarok. Here comes the W in from Sartorius, but there's no helping him. Kozku got a flash after. Look for the kill on Wisdom. Did not have the extra damage coming in, and Selfie's going to fall up onto Kozku. Drops him into Egnivia, and Kirai's out. See ya. He's not going to be able to help his ally. 2-0. Misfits gain the advantage.
Misfits. Such a great play. Alphari able to get the damage down onto Sartorius, and unfortunately for Sartorius, he was not expecting the flank coming out from Wisdom, and that clearly proves Aurelia greater than shit. No, I'm kidding.
It was unfair because it was a 2 versus 1.
Yeah, I am kidding. But it was a great setup from Misfits, punishing on the overextension of Sartorius. He was forced to flash into the river, and you can see a lot of initial damage coming down from Alphari. And Sartorius, the reason he's not trading back here is because he's wondering, why is Alphari coming into me in a full minion wave? So he's just forced to retreat immediately. Kozku tries to help to keep Sartorius alive, but it's not enough. Kozku goes to the flash E, but because the target is not chilled, they're not slowed by Kozku's passive, then he doesn't have the additional damage.
Yep.
No flash means he eats the entire ultimate of Selfie, and it ends up being a kill over to Selfie, giving them 2 early kills, which is exactly what this Misfits lineup wants.
Wisdom indeed there had no chill, which meant that, yeah, Kozku could not finish him off there.
Yeah.
A little bit sad, but back into this bot lane. Just a lot of farming going on, honestly. Because of the pressure from Kirai, it's stopped Dreams and Handsammer from really aggressing onto this lane. So, going to be hitting that mid game where Twitch hits like a truck.
Ghostblade, I imagine, will be the first item of choice.
That was like the old build, and because Ghostblade kind of like came back onto a lot of ADCs, yeah, we're like probably going to be
level 6. Potential all in.
Dreams are going to have to flash away. Ratatatan has been popped by Walleye. Here comes the Glacial Fissure as well. Instant Exhaust will reduce the damage, but Expunge will take down Dreams, and Handsammer will continue the chase, but that was just a great setup. Walleye stealthed into the bush. And this was the potential all-in that we were discussing earlier on. Noxiac hit that level 6 mark. Walleye walked into the bush. They landed 1 concussive blows down onto Dreams, which enabled them to get the stun with the Rat-a-tat-tat. Noxiac then held on to his ultimate until the stun was just about to run out, then got the knockup to maximize the amount of time that Dreams was crowd controlled for, and that enabled EPS to get themselves a kill. As now Kirai, he may have been caught out. It is the undertow train onto Kirai, but he stopped it with the cocoon. I'm still going to call it Expunge, by the way, the E from Twitch, because it used to be called Expunge, which makes sense, right? You poison them and then you expunge them.
Yes.
Now it's called Contaminate, which used to be Trundle's frozen domain, which doesn't make any sense because you're not contaminating them, you're dealing damage on the contamination from your passive. So it should be Expunge.
However, what is the actual ability named, Pulse?
Contaminate.
So what will you call it?
Expunge.
So you will be wrong, just like you are wrong about the Aurelia Shen match.
Yeah, well, I have the history, so no one can yell about it. Mid lane, Kozku's getting chunked, and one more tick is not going to be enough. Ooh. Sartorius, he chickened out and popped the ultimate. I don't think that would have been enough damage on the sea.
I think it would have been, unless Kozku... no, he didn't just get the level up, so I thought that that's why he managed to get a chunk of health back, but fortunately for Sartorius, he was able to use that ultimate to keep him alive. Now that's actually going to be absolutely massive for Alphari, who got a big minion wave, as now the dive from Wisdom is coming in the top lane.
Sartorius gets a lot of damage onto Alphari, but he's already used the Spirit's Refuge, so now he's just a sitting duck, and Kirai will come in, flash, cocoon, lands onto nothing. And Kirai will soak up the farm. Wisdom and Alphari might come in for round 2. Wisdom's going to pick up the axe and look for this dive. Kirai, remember, he still has Repel, but he's getting chunked down in human form. Alphari takes the tower aggro. Looks for the undertow. He is so low. Alphari just needs the blade surge and will just walk on out of here. That's how you execute a dive.
Yes, it is. Very well played coming out from Misfits. And once again, Aurelia proving her superiority over Shen.
God damn it.
No, to be fair, Wisdom is doing a great job of really helping Alphari carry up in the top lane. We talked about how we wanted to see Alphari on perhaps a tank so that he can allow the other 2 superstars on the team to shine. Well, Wisdom said, no, I'm going to give Alphari the spotlight. He's on this Aurelia. Let's get him ahead in the early game, give him a good transition into the mid, and the dive overall was just great execution from Alphari. They allowed Wisdom to tank up initially, using the bonus stats that he gets from his ultimate, and because it's only a level 7 Elise, who's very squishy, going up against 8 of Wisdom and 9 of Alphari, just really good execution, landing all of their skill shots. That is how it's done.
as soon as Kirei went under that tower, it was like, at this moment, Kirei knew he had screwed up.
Yep.
Triforce spike, boys.
At 12 minutes into the game.
It's quite early.
That is quite early.
Yeah,
So tell
Alfari
me,
is very strong.
If you were Shen in this matchup, how would you feel right now?
I would type enter. I would type open mid. Yeah, that's not a good position to be in. It really will destroy Shen and actually destroy pretty much every single person on the map right now 1v1.
Yeah.
There is no one who can deal with Alfari currently with that Triforce spike. Typically, you're seeing like a 15-minute or even later for Triforce.
I'd say
12 minutes is absurd.
Yeah.
15 to 18. 15 minutes is a good Triforce.
Yes, it is, yeah.
This is a 202, 108 farm Alfari, who is ridiculously huge.
Yes, he is. But again, we just have to praise Wisdom for setting him up for that, because this was how Alfari used to shine when he played on
other teams, yeah.
On previous teams with Maxlor in particular. That's where the reputation came from. Maxlor used to just camp his lane and get him fed as Kirei at the bottom.
Got the ultimate in by Sartorius, and Tempered Fate will kind of store it out.
Oh, nice.
The Swippy swap from Dreams will get himself out using that portal, because Sartorius does not want any of that top lane right now, so he's going to lose the tower and try and make plays elsewhere. Didn't really work out.
Yeah, I think it was a smart play from Sartorius. He knew the top lane turret was going to go down anyway, so try and force a play in the bottom lane. Woolite and Noxiac are currently winning that lane after they're all in at level 6, so just make the play, trade the towers, rather than just have the Shen sit in the top half of the map and not gain anything.
That play is fine.
Yeah.
And that will allow Wisdom and Selfie to pick up this Herald and most likely donate it to Alfari.
Yes, I think that would be the smart decision.
Get in there.
13 minutes means that it will last until 33:55, which is not bad at all, given that with the composition the Misfits had, they want to try and end it about then anyway.
Yeah.
So the blue buff will also be donated over to Selfie, and the mid lane is something that we haven't talked about, and the one that I'd actually like to most talk about, because that's my lane, Pulse.
Okay. Go for it.
But unfortunately, this matchup isn't as interesting as you might like.
No, it isn't. It's
because typically Anivia sucks 1 to 6, but the reason she sucks is she can't really match the wave clear from a lot of other mids. Hang on a second, look at Kyrie. He's looking for a potential gank. Woolite, oh no, this is bad for Misfits.
And Sama, he needs to dodge the cocoon, but Kirei's just going to jump on top of his face, and yeah, his ADC has kind of left him out to dry. Woolite's going to come in and just pick up the kill there. Yeah. Very easy kill. Nice setup there from Kirei.
So this is now where we're having this Twitch reach a danger point, because he could be looking for those roaming map plays after already taking down the tier 1 turret in the bottom. He can look to make roams mids, even look to make roams top. And when you have the support from the Shen ult as well, that Twitch is really starting to look scary. I'm really interested to see what he actually decides to go for next, because Blade of the Ruin King would be my theory, but I have seen some of them go Infinity Edge second, just as a straight buy, because it adds more to your scaling. So there's a number of there are a number of build paths, that you could go. He might even go more. There's not that much magic damage, but I actually heard Freak mention on NALCS that Ezreal does a surprising amount of magic damage, so getting that bit of extra magic resistance could always be a valuable addition for Woolite.
I mean, yeah, Ezreal, pretty much every single ability deals magic damage.
TP.
His Q. Here comes the TP. Kirei, he really wants to get the smite down. Look at the damage out from Selfie. He's going to detonate the jungler. Noxiac is chasing down Wisdom, gets the CC down. Selfie and Alfari looking to follow up. Woolite is very low on health, and Mana also gets tagged. He's looking like a real nice reset for Alfari right about now. Sartorius, he's trying to get in range. Transcendent Blade's not quite enough. Flash Frost will zone away Selfie and Hansama, and that'll be just with 1 kill to Kirei.
Alfari so desperately wanted to get the kill onto Woolite. You can see the bloodlust in his play, but it was such a great taunt from Sartorius to actually prevent Alfari from getting the reset. And mad props for EPS for only losing 1 member in that entire exchange. But unfortunately, they are going to lose a tier 1 turret. They're not going to be able to secure the dragon. But let's just have a look at how this whole play gets set up. The members of Misfits realize that this is going on. The Tempered Fate is just used to stall the dragon out so it doesn't get given away for free. Alfari teleports a little bit too far away. They expect DPS to run through the jungle and they don't. But also Alfari used his Blade Surge earlier on, doesn't get the reset, which is why he gets delayed so long. He would have flashed Q'd here, but he couldn't, and then, oh no, the reason he can't go for the Q is because it's still on cooldown. So I gave Sartorius undue credit, yeah. But it was just a matter of, unfortunately for Alfari, he tried to use it earlier on, didn't have the damage. So yeah, good plays coming out from Misfits to get themselves that tier 1, and now Selfie, he's gone on split push duty and he's pushing Sartorius around.
Yeah, it's kind of rare you see a split push Victor, and now he's going to close, because Coscu going to rotate from the mid lane, try and kill him. Sartorius, he's trying to land the dash. He didn't have the flash, unfortunately, so can't quite get in range. Coscu is going to have to get ulted here by Sartorius, goes into Egnivia once again. And we'll keep him alive. Actually, I'm not really sure why Sartorius altered, because maybe he just thought that Coscu didn't have egg, but yeah, egg.
So good for Misfits. Not only was Selfie able to win a 2 versus 1, but Sartorius' ultimate being down, meaning that is so much global pressure that's now going to disappear off the map. So, phenomenal play from Selfie. We wondered why he was split pushing in the side lane. It's because he's a beast.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, 18 minutes in, and Misfits, totally different game from game 1. They're really showcasing, pretty much every individual on this team has showcased why they are like top 2 in their role.
Except Hans.
Except Hans, yeah. Except this game. He's had a lot of good games. We can forgive him. He'll step up later.
For his early game. And he is playing this Ezreal, who he is going for the scaling build, so I can forgive him.
But you get a pass for now. Alfari, though, being the strongest member in this game, with Woolite being the strongest one on Epsilon, unfortunately, Irelia greater than Twitch on the food chain. So when we get to team fights, Woolite's just going to pop.
And I would argue for at least the next 30 minutes too.
Yeah.
Sorry, not up until the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
Where the Irelia, having completed Trinity Force, going for Blade of the Ruin King second. Now, having spoken to a few Irelia mains, I know a lot of them aren't actually a fan of Blade of the Ruin King before the changes to Trinity Force, and a lot of them just thought the Ghost Blade was better because it just provided more valuable stats. The cooldown reduction, the attack damage as opposed to the attack speeds, but it seems to be a preference thing where different Aurelias will go depending on which one they prefer.
Where did you go? Like /R Aurelio mains? For that information, or?
I actually had a long conversation with Tundra about it because he used to be an Aurelia one-trick.
Actually, with a lot of challenger top laners, that's kind of been like a European challenger thing. Like, pretty much every top laner we've had has been like a big Aurelia player. Like, even back to like Kuban days. Kuban, Alfari, Wicked, all these top laners, big Aurelia players, along with like Thresh players has been the theme. Very solo queue-esque.
Would we say NA was more of a Jax then?
Yeah, I think.
Voyboy, Darshan. And I think that's all the NA tops I remember.
We should have shipped Whirlib over there just to pad it out. But it's just interesting how we have these like mini metas. Oh, Undertow lands onto Woolite, but he is able to stealth up, and the real MVP, Noxiac, there was able to stop the Undertow chain. Eurolaf train.
Oh, okay, so, Alfari.
Yeah. Irelia greater than Shen? Nope, because Spirit's Refuge.
So, I don't know how I didn't think of this. Ruin's Hurricane has to be the build path for Twitch. Rat-a-tat-tat, Ghost Blades,
passive,
multiple members with the Ruin's Hurricane as well. Just crazy amounts of damage in these team fights. So
many damages.
I expect Woolite to go there. He may also build a Blade of the Ruin King as well, but we'll have to wait and see.
I think Handsummer picked up that buff there. I need to double check. Right, I just saw the true shot where I was going across.
He didn't.
So that could have been his play.
Let's have a look at what both teams need to do now moving forward, because the thing about Epsilon is they do have a lot of disengage. It's actually, once again, very hard to force a fight onto this team composition when you have Anivia, the ultimate, the wall, the Q. Really hard to get through the sort of crowd control line. You also have the Braum, who's just naturally good at disengaging as well. A lot of ice coming out from the side of Epsilon. Then you've got to get through the Shen, too, who's just this big, briefy front line. So you've got a lot of backline DPS threat that Misfits have to somehow find a way towards. The advantage is they have Wisdom, who ignores all this crowd control, and Alfari has big tenacity numbers. So with the passive and with Merc Treads on top of that, you're going to very easily be able to mitigate a lot of the slows. Selfie gets stunned up.
Going back and forth, both mid laners trade their full burst, and Coscu, one more tick would have... No, don't recall! Okay. That was... yeah, that's a little close.
Oh, Selfie actually going for the Lich Bane build.
Oh!
Really interesting. I've always wanted to talk about this build, but every time I try to, action always kicks off. So I'm going to very quickly talk about it. TLDR.
You're on the clock.
It's really good with maxing Q. Anyway, engage from Misfits.
Different fate comes in. Undertow's not quite going to land onto Warlight, but the Ragnarok has finished. And Warlight will try and get a bit of punish there. Alfari into this bot lane. Going to chunk down Sartorius. Uh-oh. Irelia is quite big. Yeah, 2-item Irelia.
Were you replaying the thoughts of Sartorius right there?
Yeah. I don't want to be here anymore.
Oops.
I mean, yeah, there's a 60 CS advantage between those two players. Alfari is really big. No one can deal with him. I said this like 10 minutes ago, and it's still true. And I think the statement of up until 30 minutes at least, no one is going to deal with Alfari.
So quickly, Victor build.
All right.
Lichbane really synergizes nicely with the Q. It means that in team fights, you're going for a little bit more cooldown reduction, and you're mostly looking for like consistent DPS rather than big bursts. Because the Rylai's, you want to keep people in your ultimate, whereas Lichbane, you want to just keep hitting people with your Q on a very low cooldown. So that's the big difference between the builds.
You're almost out of time. Almost had to put the klaxon on and buzz you off, but...
Oh no, the 92%!
No, alright, Epsilon won the game, ship it. Misfits have a pretty significant lead in this game, but I said that last series.
Yes, we saw it last series.
Yeah.
And then what did Misfits do? Let's do Baron, let's get it stolen away.
What?
Oh,
wait,
close. Well, I got that one.
Oh,
no,
well,
I got it. Well, I got it.
Damn.
Come on, play-by-play, you got to be on the ball.
Yeah, I was looking for fact check on my screen, but didn't quite get it. 23 minutes into this game, we've had a lot of action. Wait a minute. Has Baron been started? I think it got hit by Kirei to... he just annoyed Baron, so he took his anger out on Wisdom. Let's take a look at some of the other item builds. Already touched on mid lane, already touched on top lane as well. Bot lane, Hansama is scaling into the mid game. He's on his 2-item power spike. There's the Runant Hurricane you were talking about. That is Kirei getting CC'd up in the mid lane. Cosq's down into Egg, and he's about to get scrambled. Selfie will finish him off. Quick laser. Likewise, Kirei will bite the dust. And Sartorius does not want to be here anymore. Noxjack will help out with the Glacial Fissure. And in the top lane, Warlight will take a tower.
So, Warlight in exactly the place that you need to be when the rest of your team is getting engaged upon. But in reality, Epsilon should not have been that overextended in the mid lane. You have this low mobility in Nivea. You're very open to getting engaged on by Dreams. Now, can Warlight be the hero his team needs?
He's going to try. And there's the submarine from Sartorius. Where is he going to end up? He's coming into this fight. And Warlight will open fire. Rat-a-tat-tat. But Alfari will eat him alive. Shutdown comes out. Alfari is just murdering everybody. Please stop. He's already dead.
Oh no. Misfits. Oh. They get themselves. I don't know what that is.
That is a forward slash? No.
Okay. So, we have a replay of what happened earlier on. So the engage lands down onto Kirei. The flank comes out from Misfits. It's literally a 3-pronged attack with Misfits on the back line. Wisdom and Selfie to the side, and then Hands and Dreams from the front. And it all came off of that engage from Dreams. Then they start off the Baron. I feel like they could have committed to it, but they decided to go for the turnaround. You'll see a really good exhaust come out from Noxiac. But it just doesn't matter. They managed to get the stun down onto Warlight, and that's plenty of time for both Hands and Selfie to reposition and get the damage down they need. And then Shen can't do anything, so they decide to disengage from the Baron, don't decide to commit to it, and just going to be happy with the kills. But now they've decided that they want to commit to it.
Man, Fed Irelia is just a nightmare for any squishy target. We're going to be starting off this Baron again. Dreams is coming in, but really, Alfari just wants to hit things. Baron's down to 3,000 health. Kirei's over the wall looking for a steal. Tempered Fate onto Cosq. Alfari's trying to get a range. Good Cocoon will stall him out, but not for very long. Ionian Fervor, he just blows up Anivia. Now he's onto Sartorius. Will get his second kill. Hansama will secure that one. And yeah, Misfits, pretty big. 2 picks, and they'll turn their attention back onto Baron. Yeah, it should be easy. Kirei is going to have to come up with the steal of the century. He's done it once this series. Can he do it again?
So Dreams gets a fantastic engage, but Misfits, let's forget about that because they're going for another fight.
Noxiac and Warlight trying to do damage in the backline. Selfie's going to drop here. And Baron's dropping low, but Alfari, oh no, he's onto Kirei. He's going to be the second kill. And we'll finish him off with Blade Surge. This is just horrific. And now the Baron will drop. Actually, this is like a raid buff right now. Hans Sama versus Baron. Dreams is dead. Woolite picks up the kill. Baron almost 1v9'd.
Oh my word. So now we get the replay of the second fight. The Bard ultimate down to Cosq doesn't have the flash available. You have Wisdom running at you. Again, this is what we talked about. The ultimate from Wisdom combined with the tenacity of Alphari. There's just no way you're going to be able to kite out from that. This is where things go a little bit wrong for Misfits, because half of Misfits are trying to focus the Baron, whereas the other half are trying to keep the rest of Epsilon away. So Selfie over-aggresses. He doesn't respect the positioning of Woolite and ends up giving away his life. Dreams gets very low as well, but then Alphari joins the fight. Hansama provides a bit of additional support for the cleanup, and then Misfits with the clean ace, well, mostly clean ace,
slightly
then
dirty
results
ace.
in the epic battle between the Baron. Dreams should have disengaged.
Really is the raid bus. He's ticking down from the dot.
Yep.
Wrecked. It looks like Hansama killed it. Yeah, Essence Flux coming in.
There can only be one who claims the Baron.
And it was Hansama. The most unfortunate thing from that, though, is Dreams doesn't get the Baron buff. But Mountain Dragon will go down over to Misfits, and they are in full domination over this game. Completely different game from the first one here, Vedius. And it sucks for Epsilon, because they were really just trying to get their Bastion Reinhardt combo to work with Woolite and Noxiac. But unfortunately, the enemy Genji's too fed. And then Alphari just kills them all.
I don't understand any of these references, but same, I agree.
Yeah.
Misfits. Misfits right now, as you rightly said, in full control of this game. 5-0-7 Irelia, involved in 12 of Misfits' 15 kills.
I want to see his damage done after this game, actually.
Damage done. Probably quite a lot, to be fair. You could see Hans doing just as much just because of how poke works.
True.
And to be fair, you can't underestimate Selfie, who was 1v2, hitting through Shen ults. So for those interested in learning how to play around Shen, this is how you do it.
You flame Horizon him.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Beat him. But no, I mean, Wisdom did a great job of setting him up early, and then really, once you have a Fed Aurelia against you, there is nothing you can do. It can equally swing the other way, where Aurelia gets put behind, and Sartorius becomes this just brick wall that you can't kill.
Yep.
But this is, really horror scenario for Epsilon, where Aurelia is just massive.
See, so that's why in the early game you saw Alphari getting shoved around. It was all a plan. It was intentional for Sartorius to overextend, just a bait. But anyway, in any case, it was it boiled down to Alphari got Trinity Force one lane. I mean,
yeah, pretty much. 12-minute Trinity Force equals Irelia gonna get fed this game. Especially when you have a pretty squishy lineup.
Oh my god, he just
Sartorius.
straight bought a wit's end.
He did. Because he picked up his tank item. I mean, like, what's he fearing really right now? He doesn't really care about Woolite because he's jumping on top of his face. Then it's like AP damage from the rest of the team. He doesn't really care about Shen, so he doesn't need his armor item right now, so he'll just pick up wit's end and deal more damage.
And it gives him, that literally increases his DPS significantly.
Yes. How much attack speed has he got right now?
I mean,
almost 2. 1.9.
So true damage, 2 per second. I think he 10-star lost something like 4 or 5 seconds.
Yep, something like that. Plus, I think it's 75 attack. Yeah, it's going to be 6 seconds, 75 true damage every hit. So 150 true damage a second.
Hits.
Yeah.
12 hits. That's ouch.
That's ouch. Yeah. No one's going to stand up against that because Noxiac and Sartorius will pop against true damage. I mean, it's true damage.
And Exhaust will not cripple his attack speed so much that it'll actually go below 1.
No.
Hans, though, has been caught.
Woolite looking for the submarine, but he's instantly CC'd by Dreams, and everyone take a timeout. Sartorius comes into the fight. Selfie and Wisdom are charging towards Noxiac. He's going to be run over. Kirai's going to meet the same fate. Sartorius will go down. Cosq gets poached. Triple kill over to Alphari. Not quite clean ace. 5 for 1. 20 kills to 6. Misfits push down the mid lane.
Dreams with the hero play, flash Cosmic Binding into the 3-man Tempered Fate, bought so much time for Alphari to TP in, clean up the fight, combined with all the AoE damage of Selfie, means that Misfits are going to take this series 2-0.
They will. 2-0 on the week here up against Epsilon. Very big change in the second game. GG.
GG. Very, very exciting game. That was fun to watch.
That was. That is the game you want in solo queue if you're playing like Irelia, like just to get that early game lead and just literally kill everybody. We do actually have some of the numbers here. Thank you, people on stats. Victor, 28,000 damage. I'm actually going to see how it compares to the rest of the game. And the highest on Twitch was 13,000. So...
how unfortunate. So, yeah, the Aurelia didn't actually have that much damage dealt.
No, she was just killing people 1v1 in duels,
she was just killing them. So the big AoE ability power, that's just kind of how ability power works. So, you know, it's a little bit biased, unfortunately. Mid lane is stealing all the glory.
Bot almost did as much damage as Anivia. 4,000 versus 6,000.
But really, we have to talk about Wisdom and how I honestly feel like he stepped up in both games. In game one, he did go for a lot of flash cocoons that didn't work out, but he also went for ones that really did. And the fact that he was able to land so many impressive skill shots in game one and set up Alfari for success in game two, to me, I kind of want to give him MVP simply because
he would be my player of the game for sure.
Because he really he facilitated the success of Misfits in both games. He was the engage in game one, and he was the reason why Alfari got so fed in game two. So really impressive stuff from Wisdom. Like to see how much his growth has improved. Yeah. And props to Dreams as well. They do, you know, stepping in for Ignat. He has obviously Dreams is still on the roster.
Yeah, he's just sub.
But he definitely proving that Misfits hold on to two very solid supports in their roster.
Yeah, he's really good. He able to swap them out, and pretty much nothing changes. I guess the thing with Ignat and Dreams is like neither of them have like different play styles they bring to the team. I think they're very similar. So in terms of like, it's not like an SKT scenario with like Easy Hoon and Faker, right, where they have two different like play styles. I think they're very similar. So I don't know if you'd gain like a tactical advantage from subbing Dreams in, but if one of them's sick, then put the other one in and you have the same team. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I absolutely agree. Wisdom did such a good job. And I think we've seen a lot of growth of Wisdom in Challenger since the time of Giants in LCS. So very excited to see actually if, because we're currently expecting Misfits to probably reach the top of the standings heading into playoffs. I just want to see him go up against some of the bottom tier teams in LCS. Maybe go against Giants, who we've seen actually who've been doing very well in LCS. I think they're up to what, sixth place now?
6th place right
yeah,
now.
Which is absolutely mind blowing.
But in any case, it was still a very exciting. I think that game two was much a better representation of what Misfits can do. And when they have that engaged, like you saw the difference that the Bard made when they actually had a way to start fights by getting those catches. It was just a different game.
That's true. They drafted engage, which I was very happy about. I think on the other side though, Epsilon, I think it's worth mentioning that maybe they aren't just 5th place. Maybe they can challenge for 4th and go a little bit higher and make it into playoffs this time.
They've only got 2 weeks left to do it though. They're going to need two clean 2-0s if they want to make top 4.
That's true. And we can take a look at the standings as well to see actually how much work they need to do over the next 2 weeks here. So Misfits is always at the top with 7 points. We've broken the freeze at the top. Huma and Millennium are now equal, and you can see Epsilon with only 1 point. So they're going to have to literally 2-0 the next 2 weeks just to match Misfits currently.
So I think for me the big surprise is Forge currently being in 4th place. Coming into Challenger,
true, actually,
I think that both of us felt that or the broadcast team for Challenger felt that it would be Misfits 4G sitting at the top, and actually Huma and Nerve sitting at the bottom. But surprise, surprise, Huma's actually now currently sitting in 2nd place, tied with Millennium. So few surprises in the standings, but next week I think that those standings will shift pretty significantly. But if Epsilon can't get themselves a win on the boards, it's pretty much their last opportunity. Interestingly enough, Nerve actually still have an opportunity. If they can get 2 wins themselves, and both Epsilon and 4G lose. But we'll have to see. There's a lot to come.
And everything can change in playoffs anyway.
So make sure, speaking of next week, to tune in next week at the same time of 5 PM CEST Tuesday for week 4 of the European Challenger Series, where we'll be kicking things off with Epsilon versus 4G. So this will be a big deciding factor as to who will be moving into that 4th place spot. If Epsilon can get the 2-0, it'll be great. Following that will be Misfits versus Huma. Now, if Huma want to solidify themselves in the top half, Misfits will be the ultimate challenge for them. And then rounding out the day will be Nerve versus Millennium. So Nerve need a win here. If they lose, that's it. They're out. They're out of playoff contention.
They really need to make that happen. But a 2-0 is going to be very tough against Millennium coming into next week. Because even going 1-1 is not as super valuable against Millennium. So they just need to make sure it's decisive. But either way, also remember, it is mid-lane week on LCS, so check out the new portal, eu.lolesports.com/mid-lane week for our new portal, and you can check out all the new articles, and we have new features as well being released daily. A lot of cool content going over there.
On top of that, another episode of PTL airs at 2 a.m. CEST Thursday, which is 5 p.m. PST on Wednesday. You won't want to miss Quick Shot facking off Vitality's Mighty Bear.
Yeah, that is the technical term. But that brings the curtains down on week 3 of the European Challenger Series. So on behalf of myself, Vedius, Crepo, and the Challenger broadcast team, thank you for joining us this evening, and we will catch you next week.